As it is known, our planet is still full of mysteries and enigmas. And, as you understand, the largest number of them is hidden beneath the waters of seas, oceans, and bodies of water. Hello, you're on the NSK Show channel, and these are the 10 most terrifying underwater finds. Sunken Stonehenge, Michigan. In 2007, while searching for the remains of sunken ships, scientists discovered an unusual stone structure at a depth of 12 meters in Lake Michigan, USA. This discovery was fortunate for Professor of Underwater Archaeology at Northwestern University of Michigan, Mark Hawley, and his colleague Brian Abbott. They described this find as bearing a striking resemblance to Stonehenge. Just imagine. It was actually about 9,000 years old. But what's most astonishing is that one of the stones features a clear carving of a mastodon, which went extinct over 10,000 years ago. Today, the exact coordinates of the find are kept strictly confidential. This condition was imposed by local Native American tribes who wished to avoid an influx of tourists and merely curious individuals on their land. Spiders. Researchers studying the cold waters of Antarctica reported discovering new species of sea creatures at the ocean's bottom. And I'm sure you would never guess what they were. They were giant spiders. I bet everyone who dislikes these creatures shuddered just now. Am I right? As it turns out, Australian scientists participating in an international program to study the flora and fauna of the Southern Ocean stated, "We found that these spiders were previously unknown to science, and most interestingly, they were found at a depth of 1,950 meters. The scientists claimed that the discovered creatures are of very large size. Samples for DNA study and tissue analysis were sent to specialized institutions around the world. This was necessary to ensure the results were as accurate as possible." F4 Fighter, Philippines. Not long ago, divers accidentally discovered an incredible find in the warm waters near the Philippines. Exploring the beauties of the underwater world, they stumbled upon an F4 fighter that had been buried in the sands of Subic Bay by sheer chance. The plane is now under a 40-meter layer of water, and it is still unknown what circumstances could have caused the crash. After all, it looks almost undamaged. It's worth noting that the F4 fighter was primarily designed to protect ships. Moreover, it was tasked with intercepting strategic bombers. Interestingly, this flying war machine managed to set several world records. It achieved a flight altitude record of 30,040 meters and a low-altitude speed record of 1,452 kilometers per hour. And you know, this achievement remained at the top of the pedestal for a whole 16 years. Therefore, it's quite a shame to find such a powerful discovery buried in the sands of the ocean. Car Tire Graveyard, Florida. Not far from the shores of Fort Lauderdale in Florida lies a completely unusual place, an underwater dump of decaying car tires. In fact, this is the Osborne Reef, an underwater graveyard consisting of 2 million tires dumped there in the 1970s. It formed as a result of a failed environmental operation to create an artificial reef. Today, the tires are slowly decomposing in the coastal waters of Florida, which of course is causing irreparable harm to the surrounding nature, especially the coral reefs. Since 2001, there has been a massive cleanup effort, but unfortunately, only 73,000 tires have been removed from the 2 million dumped there so far. Local authorities estimate that fully cleaning the seabed will cost over $3 million. As you can understand, the Osborne Reef is a real environmental problem that, in my opinion, needs to be urgently addressed. Long Branch train wreck in New Jersey. It was the wreckage of 2 locomotives from 1850. Of course, you may immediately wonder how trains could end up buried in the deep sea. Unfortunately, there is still no definitive answer to this mystery. But it can be speculated that military locomotives were being transported by some large barge, which itself may have suffered a wreck. But where is this barge, you might ask? Well, indeed, not far from this location, the remains of some ship were discovered. However, they were never raised to the surface and, consequently, not studied. Perhaps the underwater current attracted the remains of this train here. Be that as it may, it remains to be said that the deep waters of seas and oceans indeed hold many secrets that are sometimes beyond our ability to decipher. Extinct coelacanth. For many decades, scientists believed that the ancient fish species known as the coelacanth disappeared from the face of the Earth 65 million years ago. Quite a long time, isn't it? However, in 1938, local fishermen off the coast of Africa discovered one of these specimens, and another was caught in Indonesia a few years later. And you know what's most interesting? It's that coelacanths have remained largely unchanged by evolution over the millions of years of their existence. And the value of such a find is very high because, unfortunately, very little is known about this truly rare fish species, even from paleontological records. And the only thing known for sure is that coelacanth is completely unsuitable as food for humans. Therefore, it holds no value in terms of nutrition, unlike other fish species. Black smokers. Have you ever heard of black smokers? And they're definitely not people, as you might have guessed, but rather peculiar formations found underwater. They resemble something like a chemical compound of seawater and magma. These hydrothermal natural vents, which emit swirling jets of liquid, can reach a record temperature of 370 degrees Celsius. That's why they're called black smokers. And all this is due to the presence of iron sulfide deposits. This natural phenomenon was first discovered in 2008 in the Arctic Circle, somewhere between Greenland and Norway. It turned out that 5 black smokers form it in this area. Moreover, one of them stands out from the rest with a height of almost 4 stories. This makes it the largest hydrothermal vent. Sunken alien. What may initially seem like a rusty and swampy sculpture of a xenomorph actually closely resembles an object from the movie Alien by director Ridley Scott. I bet few of you know that sculptors and artists around the world have a special habit of installing their work on the seabed after the end of filming. And of course, for scuba divers who sometimes come across such mysterious sculptures, it becomes a real shock. After all, not everyone succeeds in finding something like this during their marine travels. But why is this done, you might ask? In fact, artists believe that this prolongs the life of their creation. In any case, the picture is quite terrifying. Apollo 11 remains in the Atlantic. In March 2013, the founder and CEO of the online store Amazon, Jeff Bezos, decided to carry out a crazy plan. Together with his team, he set out to search for the engines used during the launch of the manned spacecraft called Apollo 11. And what do you think? After exploring the presumed territory based on the given coordinates, the researchers did find 2 rocket engines from Apollo 11, which had been lying motionless on the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean since 1969. This discovery, along with some additional parts, was raised from ocean depths and restored. Today, they are exhibited at the Kansas Cosmosphere and Space Center in the small American town of Hutchinson, Kansas. Perhaps someone is interested in what makes this find so interesting. The fact is that these 2 rocket engines are part of the spacecraft that first brought astronauts to the moon. And what's even more interesting is that today, everyone can, so to speak, touch history personally. Sunken Village, Israel. Off the shores of the village of Atlit lie the submerged ruins of the Neolithic city of Atlit Yam. This site was discovered in 1984 by marine archaeologist Ehud Galili. Since then, through lengthy underwater excavations, houses, graves, and wells have been uncovered. At the center of this settlement, 7 megaliths are arranged in a stone semicircle around a freshwater spring, which may have once been a site for water rituals. Just imagine, this site dates back between 6900 and 6300 BCE and lies approximately 10 meters below the current sea level, covering an area of about 40,000 square meters. Scientists believe that Atlit Yam was abandoned suddenly, possibly due to a tsunami that struck the region, likely triggered by a volcanic eruption in the Mediterranean Sea area. That's all for today. Don't forget to like this video and, of course, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.